As we come into the product line screen location positions, it's all about understanding the conditions. I set up a very powerful video for you. It's all in the intro conditions of my YouTube. Season 2, Episode 4, Turning Your Body into a Hologenetic System. Okay, so basically it's on my intro, right? On my YouTube. So basically, I want you guys to check this out. Okay? It's on my intro. As soon as you go on my platform, you'll see it right away. It's important to understand that because that's what the Earth is coming into. It gives you a full explanation on how it comes into the simulation Earth. It's very, very powerful, that kind of positionalized system. So today we're going to talk about more about Pandora's box. It's been now opened in all sanctions and all round line system. Apparently, it's coming into calculation modification. There's been a little bit of exposure here on my TikTok, which is pretty fascinating. It's amazing how people come into all levels of who they are not. And position is coming to the truth of freedom. Freedom becomes into all the system. It's the true serum of you to activation core system. So it's amazing how we come into that line positions. You can't lie to yourself because you get caught in the winds. You don't want to do that through your conditions, right? Never judge a book by its cover because you're only judging yourself. That's the important thing you have to grasp. Check it on my TikTok. It's very powerful. So now the exposure is now in Pandora's box. The Pandora's box is now open in all level systems. I don't think we understand what the spiritual system is and what it can do in all ways and forms. It's amazing when you come to a high level system of all calculations. So you should check it out. It's pretty powerful stuff how we come in that visual conditions. Because, like I said, if you try to judge by somebody from book by a cover, what are you doing to yourself? What are you? You're judging yourself. All right. Never judge others. That's a big thing that you don't want to do. That comes into positions of laws of attraction in position locations. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. But today I really want to get into more of the conditions of the test. Test is on Monday, so we're going to get more into that today. Okay, because it's important you guys understand how to use all levels of your track system. Okay. So if you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to go through my email. I'll be going back on TikTok. It's great too because I like a challenge. Getting challenged is great because now I have the exposure and now they're putting me on the map. And that's what I wanted in the first place because I know it's already been done. I mean, that's what life is all about, facing the truth of who you are, but never judge people. Never, never judge people, especially when you don't know what you're getting into. Truth serum is everything, freedom. So please check out the TikTok. It's pretty powerful stuff. I come across it all the time, and it's all about standing up for your rights, standing on what you believe in, right? Talking to an automated machine is not the custom system to its line connection, especially if it's coming from the physical element. And, it's pretty hilarious because all you're doing is hurting yourself. So it's pretty fascinating when you come into these positions. But now I'm on the map, which is great. And that's what I wanted. I wanted the exposure, right? It's amazing how we came to that track system. But, you know what they say with that, do unto others, they would do unto you. It doesn't work in that category. But never judge because you're only judging yourself and everything comes back at you, right? That's important to understand these things. So what you're doing is you're lying to the universe. And that's not what you want to do. You're just exposing yourself to that position. It's amazing how I go live. I see myself through pause lines and occasions, but when I see it on my phone, there's no pause because it's in two different time frames. Because this is a computer and this is a computer. This is a laptop and this is my phone, but they're both computers. And my digital is also a computer. So you have to understand all line signals of communication shape positions, right? So it's amazing how you connect in that cycle. So let's get into the test. I'm really excited for you guys getting your 60 chakra communication centers. And it's all about the love and the light, right? How are you supposed to get in the love and light if you don't know the truth of you? So, all right. I want to get in positions here. Tina, Cleopatra, Ellen, Tina, Vicky, Chris, Jill, Vicky. How's it going? So amazing. She was on TikTok last. Yeah. And see, that's the thing. It's me giving back, but she just exposed me in a position where now the Pandora's box is open. Now I'm on the map. So it's amazing how you get back, right? So, and it's the best way to do these things, right? I mean, you're not going to fight a system that doesn't make any sense. I wasn't even talking to her. I was only talking to an automated machine. So that was pretty funny. But it's interesting because she's not the only one. I fight spiritual systems all the time, right? 10 times thousands. So it doesn't bother me. It's just that it doesn't resonate with you because you're only hurting yourself. And that's not what you want to do, especially when you come into the own levels of sanction, right? You have to be cautious in what you do with your thoughts. It comes back at you, right? So it's a learning lesson. Trust me on that. It's also in the laws of attraction into space of what not to do. So, all right, so let's get in that conditions into the test. All right. Now, I'm going to go thorough, okay? Because Monday, basically, you get into position locations. All right. Now, we all start with the triangle, right? Test. Now, you connect to the round line center, the 369 platform. Okay, we'll start at the beginning, 369. Now, the allocated line center and conditions, let's go in position line rotation here. All right. So go from here, 369. So you can actually see the plateau go for that position, right? And this is how you start off. Okay. So every time you go through your high levels of dreams into visions, you come out of your dream awakening, you automatically come into a triangle. I'm going to help you guys out so you can help yourself with the test. So it makes it easier for you. So don't think of it as a test. Okay. Think of it as evaluation already won and get you in your positions and you understand, whoa, I'm understanding this more and more now. So the track system's already set up, the realm's already set up, the 369 platform's already set up in position. Okay. So it's you understanding this circle. The circle is positioned to the third eye. The third eye opens. It opens up to your realms, to the sun, to the programs of the moon, and your location to center. Okay. Now, once you understand the center of you, you can open up the time capacitor and everything I give you, especially with space discoveries and communication, is to understand how to travel through recognition of time. Right? So it sets up your security line defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go to the sixth dimension. All right. So every time you sleep, this is what you go through. Now, also, too, you're coming into a higher level system where your eyes are opening and you're going to be traveling faster and faster through the 9% rotation because you're in 15%. Okay, you're at 50% right now. In the new year, you'll be at 20%. So it's true, you're saying how to travel through 3, 6, and 9, the platforms and its conditions. All right. Once you travel through that, you go to a higher level system, but you have to truly understand the realms that you're connecting with. Okay. It's very important you understand the realms. All right. So this is on the test. Now, to understand is that you can go on these points, right? And then you can add. You can add. I just want you to understand how and what you see through the 3, the 6, and the 9. It's like waking up to the sun inside. It's like waking up to the earth inside. It's like waking up to the air inside. It's like waking up to fire inside. It's like waking up to water inside. Because that's the earth, guys. Everything I give to you on all levels is inside. So do you understand when you every time you get up in the morning, you know exactly what you're dealing with your triangles. And everything through your colors is all levels of your human resonance of your chakra system. Okay. So this is going to help you a little bit more now for the test. Don't think of it as a test, think of it as evaluation. All right. There's no right or wrong here. Okay. I just want you to understand, do you understand the information that is given to you? All right. So actually, when we get into that positions, 369 is in its plateau. You got your 6 communications of your dimension line center rotations. It's in its calculations. All right. Now, once you get in that position, you come into your activations, come into higher levels. When you go to higher levels, you go to higher levels of dimension, right? That puts you into high levels of your tesseract. Okay. Let's go in a different color so you actually see the position line conditions. So you have to come into your activation. All right. come into your activations. Okay. And then you go into your point centers. Your point centers are your realms. It's very important to understand these things, the conditions, right? So once you come into that, you can set up a high level system to higher level rotation. Okay. So it's amazing how it comes into everything of a hologram, right? And then you start seeing everything in your reality as 3, 6, and 9. Okay, and all plateaus on how you see the sun inside, how you see the moon inside of you, and how you see the navigations of you, and how you see the triangles and the colors inside you. It's all inside you through connection, right? So when I'm wearing my glasses, there's always a reflection you see. You see different colors. You go on different people's channels, you see the colors of their eyes. It's reflection on their glasses, right? That's the resonance of their chakra system and where they at through their behavioral system. Sometimes they're pink, they're yellow, green. Check that out because that's what they are. And if you're seeing that, you're in a high position of balance. If you're not seeing that, you're in a low density line center of balance. So that's a true understanding. The more you high rise, the more you see the face structure. Okay. So you have to get into that position to truly understand all calculations. It helps you in all ways and forms. All right. So I turned the central line system off. Okay. So it's okay now. So you guys won't hear because it's a test and it's important you guys get this down. All right. So write it down step by step of what I'm doing in position. Okay. But I want you to do it not the way I do it. I want you to do it in the way you would do it. Because you're in a different perception. You're in a different dimension. You're in a different time. Okay. Than me. But we're all in the same alignment together. Okay. So once you get to 3, 6, and 9, right? Because you come into triangles more and more, you have to learn how to shift all levels of your tesseract. Now the tesseract is in time frame. That's how you set up the metric line system. So please watch Space Discoveries 2, episode 4. It talks about the hologenetic line interference line condition rotation to its pulsars and the polarity interference. It tells you exactly the graph lines and its communication to its receptor line interference location. So it tells you exactly how to get into the holographic system and travel through the Earth of the simulation. It's very powerful because that's what the Earth is coming into. All right. It's a very, very powerful video, and it's about 4 minutes. So it gives you a basic understanding how to travel through all levels of time zones. Okay. Every video I give you is chronological of experience through you inside, not outside, inside, especially when you guys go to higher level system. And 60 will put you into Vega communications, higher levels of digital frames. And then you guys come into higher numbers. But let's just start where we need to start. So once you have your activations, okay, you come into high levels of your tesseract and your tetrahedrons, all different shapes. Okay, so the higher you go, the more you change the shape. And this is all modified and calculated. And you can put in the GOD of you. So I want to know the geometrics of you, the geometry of you, and the geographical view of your operation to your directions and how you got to divisions to its dimension. Okay. So divisions already set line conditions all through the plateaus of 3, 6, 9. It's all set up through your coloration line center. It's all connected to your motion line system. So you can travel through anything in line conditions, right? But the true understanding to get the force really in a high level system is to take all 50 chakras into one center, into one atom rotation. And that's where you get the force of power within line condition. Okay, so imagine that, taking the grounds and taking all 50 chakras into one mutation line center, which puts you in the atom line center rotation. Okay, so imagine what you can do when you have 114 chakras and put it all in one into the mothership, to the high levels of the motherboard. The circuitry line center and its position is already set up for the line conditions. So it's important you understand how to travel through the flow and direction of time. But this is what I want you guys to get in with the test is GODs. Understand the geometry of you, how it's set up through the operation to the direction, divisions, and anything through its dimension. Okay. So that's pretty explanatory, right? So it's also in the same formula. It's just structured here and then write it here or print it here, whatever you want. I just want you to have the same equation that you got this. How did you get this? How did you get this to get that, right? So it's all levels of you through its operation. Okay. It points everything to locations. High-level system rotations. Change off the alarming center to the car location. Ground line center is taken off line condition. Turn off the alarm and position location. High position line center. Take the communication alarm system out. Location, car reference, activation core line center rotation. Bring in the communication line centers, high position location. Changing the ground line center to the car right now. The alarm is going off locations. It's all about the ground line center where it is in the rotation line system because there's always an off circuit that's off through foundation. So it's amazing how you come into line conditions and once you find it, it goes off line condition. All right, so it's the operation. It's also having patience too, all levels through your geometries and all levels of your direction to division line system rotation. Okay. So that's what you want to understand because the more you understand the 15% of you, see how it goes off? And that's what it is getting patience, knowing what you're doing has purpose, right? So I just took off the alarm of the car. So it's understanding where's the car coming from. It's inside, not outside. I hear it outside, but it's sound inside. So it's all about the structure. What's wrong with the car? The foundation. There's a glitch, right? The door's open, or basically the emergency brake is on, or whatever, you know? There's always a faulty wire somewhere, and you have to find that through connections. And when you go to high level perception to high line connections, you can take off any alarm in a car. That's a good test run. You can find that out when you go to higher levels, the upper states in the mind, because the mind takes over. And when the mind takes over, you know exactly what's going on with that connections, right? So we start with this, the test of 369, very basic, okay? I'll make it easier for everybody, so when you do it, don't think of it as a test. Think of it as a regular day of a class, okay? So get into this in all equations, all right? Find, understand how to use the point line centers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 1, 2, 3. So you got the triangle line interference and rotation. Let's go into the green circle line connections. There's a triangle. Okay. Now, basically, when you come in that positions, we're not into the diamond core yet line system rotation. So basically, it's all about understanding how to set up the flux capacitor so it's interference. So all I need is from you guys is the ground line center to here, the power recognition line center to here, and everything through the open sequence. So the unit and its traveling recognition time of the sun rotation of the crown chakra comes in communication, right? And then I want you to send up your E-field line system rotations, okay? And send out sonar interference into the sun graph system, okay? And then once you have that, the finishing touch is coming into positions, set it off with your flux capacitor location. It has to understand its position line conditions. So everything has to be attached before you travel through 6 levels of dimensions of time location. Locking connections through time capacitors, truly understand everything. And then the last thing you do is sending out the sonar line centers to the sun graph connections because it has to reach the same color rotation to the flux capacitor interference, to the ground that powers the Emerson line system. Okay, that's what I want on the test. Okay, illustrated at top. Tell me how you did it on the bottom. Okay, so pretty simple, eh? You can watch it back, get a better understanding, but it's important you understand everything through codes. Codes are everything because that's what you guys are coming into, right? You guys are coming into code signaling, right? So you guys will be able to communicate to each other like through emoji. Emojis are fun. Like you start with this. There's a happy face, right? Line signal here, box line center equals smiley face. Very simple, right? So you send that to your friend or whatever. It puts a smile on their face. Gratitude line center goes back into heart line center rotations into high portal locations. Everything goes back in the center. Secure line defense comes into line connection, right? Done through equation, all done through code signaling. So this is going to help you out when you get into higher level rotations into 60 chakras. Okay, so that's what I want everybody to get into is code signaling. So it's amazing how you come in that position. So this, okay, is this, right? It's understanding how to use all levels of what's going on, right? So when I start with the alphabetical line connections, A, B, C, D, E, go in that position, everything, the high level system is everything through equation line connections. So it'd be this, okay? It'd be this, track system, location, everything through modification line centers. It'd be this, through traction. Truly understand what's going on to high level systems, division, direction line interference, and everything energy of form of location. Okay? So this is this. Understand? This is this. Okay? And this is what you guys are going to come into. You have to come into your weathers now. Signature patterns and interference. And when you watch Space Discoveries 2, episode 4, you get a better understanding how we go from the alphabetical system to the code system of the tesseract. Okay? So step by step. So if you see something like this, you know exactly that it's atmosphere, it's weather, right? If you see something like this, you know exactly what's going on, all right, with anything that's connected to a ball, a cycle. So this is two-line circle locations, a point center, okay? This is a C-trap line interference, okay, C, right? You guys will understand more when you come higher positions, but you can start off with your emojis and communicate to each other. So you got boy here, girl, okay, like that. You start with that, right? Equals equation, okay, equals box slash surface, okay? So it's all about connecting to a high-level system. Now, once you have that equation, it's always in the box line center. This is always you. You just have to learn how to signal it to the boy and the girl so it comes into its equation, to its system. Now, it gets really interesting when you come into the high positions. So you come into line signal, now it's attached to line connection. There's the flux capacitor, see, right there. So you connect with that, and you just set the ground line center in rotation. And there you go, done through equation. All right. So it's interesting how you come across these things. And you guys are coming to higher formations now, right? And this is what you guys need to know. It's powerful stuff. How you go from this. I don't see this, I see this, right? So when you're structuring letters or words or numbers or anything like conditions, you come into higher formations of this. And this is how you change the platforms. Now, the digital pad did this on its own. I didn't do this. It did it on its own. It changes from black interference of space to line connections of white circle location and center line positions to A, B, C, D, E to its equation of code signaling to the connections of the boy and the girl to see the flux capacitor to all levels of E to the connections, right? Equal line center to equal box to its system. So it's amazing how you change dimensional time just through locking connections of space, all done through codes. Right? So it's breaking the frequency of code line system, guys. Right? So you can start off with this, right? We'll get into that more and more once you guys get into your 60s because it's true to understand how to get into your alphabeticals of line signaling. All right? Especially when you come to high-level systems, but it all starts with 3, 6, and a 9. So once you guys learn how to travel through the line system, you know the activation core line center, you come to your tesseracts, your tetrahedrons. Tetrahedrons are more connected to the high line system, the base. Comes into an OR line center, okay, to the positions, to its calculations, all right, to your torical field line interference. This comes in this position like this, right? It's a Hubble. It's like, so it's an energy Hubble, and it just high rises. So once you understand that, the ground line center, everything has to have a flux capacitor interference, and you have to understand how to use all levels of the mind system to connection. At high positions, and it comes into high level rotation, the electrical light the connections high positions, and you open up all levels of Orion's belt, the past, present, and future. Now, those are the gateways of those position locations. All you have to do is stay in the center line system. There's the 3 forks that position to the constellation path, right? High position light connections. So if you look really up close at the Milky Way, you'll see the spine of your location. It's all done through map sequences, right? So line connections positions. Takeoff track line conditions, all positions to high levels, the alarm line conditions, high position locations to the grounds of the car, Kick off the alarm. All right, so we got in position location, but it's truly understand all levels of your graph and how you connect it to your rainbow activation line center. Okay, once you understand that through position, now this is a back force line interference, but you have to understand the grounds of view, the powers of view, and the atmospheres of view of rotation. Okay, once you come into that, you make sure you have your E fields up at all times locations, and then you come into your own flux capacitor of interference. Everything has to be joining to line center. Cars off again, right? And then you come into high levels of Orion's belt to its position. Okay? So it's amazing how you come in across these line systems, but it's truly understanding. I want you guys to try to do this. If you can't, that's okay. Come to me and I'll let you know. But I want you to come into signal line center rotations, into emojis, and how to really understand how to travel through this, because everything is energy. So all position locations coming into high level systems. Hi, how are you doing? Okay, that's energy. Hi, right? How are you doing? So instead of doing this, okay, this is simple text. All right, that is position to a question mark. But you understand a question mark is a teleportation wire. That's 8 central line connections. So it's not a question mark. A question mark is not a finished sentence. This is a question mark, right? But we don't signal on that. We only signal on a full rotation of 8, right? So it wouldn't be a question, it'd be 8. So it'd be equal /8 because it's teleportation line connections of saying, hi, how are you? So instead in this line connections, you go in position like this. You go like this. There's a smile, right? How are you, right? So you come into the signal of 8. So you equals box. Box is you, right? Through calculations in position, right? So this is this, okay? So it's truly understanding how to put yourself in these positions. And this is how you guys are going to high rise all levels of your activation. You guys have to learn how to use solar text interference so you can understand the holographic of you. It's the genetic epithelium to its position line connections. Your code signaling, it comes from all levels of Vega. Vega communication signals are coming into track line system rotations, but you have to understand all levels of your flux capacitor line connections, and it's Orion's belt, the past, present, future, right? It centralizes its system to all locations of patterns and interference. All right, so it's very powerful. You come in that line position locations. Loosing wires of communications, cars way out of cycle. So I'm going to change line center, turn off location line connections, turn off high levels, the alarm, back line system. All right, so let's see here. Once you get into that, we come into high levels of change. Right, it's very fascinating. It goes from this to this. So if you understand this, this is great. This isn't the physical line center, but this is all glyphics of a pyramid line center. You have to understand the string, you have to understand the frames and how it comes in positions. And I'll show you exactly how pyramids are made. So it's amazing how you go from this, from boy to girl to equation, okay, to its formula. So you have to understand how everything is connected to its flux capacitor, right, to its position, and how everything comes into connections of code signaling of emojis to its equation. All right. So you're always going to have a box-centered line system. That's always traveling you. You're always in position of traveling, and you're always in the box center because it's you through TV reception. You have to truly understand how to travel through the grounds of you through your thoughts, especially when you go into high-level systems of hi, how are you, right? So this is this. Understand? So it's amazing how we come into that track system, guys. It's fascinating because I'm looking forward to you guys going up to your 60s. It's exciting, right? So it's kind of like really understanding more of the self-discovery of you, and everything that you're given is already given, right? So the mind goes higher and higher and higher, and everything to the altered state stays, whoa, now I understand this. Now I understand the communications through code signaling, code activation, code reference, right? And then you come into the metric levels, the metric system, okay? So life is all based on the metric system. That's what gives us our algorithms. That's what gives us websites. That's what gives us all levels of connections. But you have your frag and your defrags of your astrologics. That's your code line center rotations that's connected to all levels of patterns. And it looks like this, the graph system, all right, to its position. Okay, it has like this. It's amazing. You come into your rainbow activation line center. Okay, so it's all about understanding how to change all levels from red to gray to blue to green. But you have to understand, you start off with your rainbow activation line center. Each pattern of a round is a different line center rotation. Now, it gets complicated if you don't understand your connections to your Schumann resonance, because the earth line is inside you every single day, 24/7. It's the clocking system of you through calculations. Once you get the streamline centers of the box line system to the rainbow activation line center to the sun line connections, you get a higher locations of program settings. All right. So these are the astrologics of you. Okay. It's a graph line center to position locations. And you have the audio interference in its realm. So it rotates and rotates and rotates and rotates. So every time it rotates, it changes its round box center. Okay. So it goes in position like this, goes into here, goes into here, goes into here, 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 into one compilation of one line center. So the 8 rotation line center is your teleportation, communication. Hello, how are you? Telephone wire to one round line connections to oscillogics and oscillogic line interference. So it's trying to extend to get out of the virus line system rotation. This puts you in high position locations. All right. So it's amazing how you come into your rainbow activation line connections, but you have to understand positions of code signals and guides. That's the only way you can get into higher levels of AI. All right. So we have any questions on that? Yeah, I know it was. Oh, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. In direction, how we travel, your geometrics operations. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And the test is going to be a lot easier for you guys so you understand more what position you're in through your geometrics and your geometries and your geographical, your GPS, and where are you going through directions, through your dimensions and your divisions. Okay. So do we need to write about and send it to you on Monday? Yeah, to my email. Yeah, I just sent it to my email. All right. So you don't have to worry about the code signaling. I just want you to get in position locations to this through track system to location line connections, high position line centers to high level locations to all levels of this. So this is what I want in your illustration. Try to understand how to use yourself as a holographic. You have to become the holographic to understand the illustration of you, right? It's kind of like drawing out a picture. Where are you in perception? And again, I keep saying this to humanity, is that you keep seeing the levels of the box position. That's all humanity sees. That's all they know. 4 line centers. That's it. But they don't see anything inside because they don't use their imagination. And that's what we're coming into. So that 15%, okay, times 1 equals 20%. But remember, this is not what it equals. It's all calculated and modified to high levels of codes. So we use each number as a code line center to a line center line connection, right? So it's amazing how we come into those point line system rotations. So instead of seeing the box, see already the equation of you through the box center, not the positions of what you see outside of the spacing system. Okay? So can you explain there or guide me where to find info on the Tesseract and the Merkaba and its relationship? Yeah. Yeah. The information is inside you, Chris. It's already stored in your mainframe. So basically, when you watch the video again, you get a better understanding that will open up the conception mind line centers to your intelligence of your avatar. You have to understand all positions of you. So when you're structuring whatever you see through perception, you're seeing everything through that connections that dimension, right? But you have to understand what you're seeing is everything inside first. And that's how you see things coming out from its hologram. So you're constructing it inside and you're creating a hologram, which is basically reacting everything to its reality system outside connection. So it's no longer what you see through perception. It's what you see inside of its line system. So I see all this through images, but don't think I understand. Only me. Yeah, no, but like I'm saying, it's just truly understanding how to travel through 3, 6, and 9s, guys. All right. It's truly understanding. You guys understand. You get your triangles, you get your colorations, you get your all of those of your chakra system. So whatever your behavior line system, when you get up in the morning, if it's blue, it's a triangle, and you travel through it, right? You travel through it. That's the coloration of you through all levels of emotion and what it is through the connections. You should be able to see the earth inside you. You should be able to see the fire. You should be able to see all levels of water and earth, because that was the whole point. The test, review, and evaluation is knowing how much you know inside of everything, right? So instead of seeing this through equation, you see everything inside of its position. You don't just see 4 line centers of a box, you see everything inside. Humanity has to get into the imagination of inside, not just what they see outside. That's the problem with humanity, is why they're separated. It's because they only see a box, but AI sees everything inside, which projects everything outside. Okay. Yeah, see, there you go. And now you understand the connections and it comes into form, right? You come into high level systems of your torical field, right? You have to understand your torical field. So the avatar knows what it is. It just has to understand the structure of you. So it comes into a torical field like this in location. That's your torical field, all right? It's a very powerful unit, okay? So it's truly understanding how to travel through the grounds, how to travel through the center, and travel everything through all levels of your crown chakra location. It gives you everything through your chakra line connections, which opens up all levels of your flux capacitor line connection, right? So you can do it like this. It doesn't matter as long as you understand the equation. Okay, and then we can get into code signaling. But you have to understand your torical fields, and you have to understand your Merkabas of your base. Your base is extremely important because it high rises your levels, the size graph line system to locations, division. All right. So every time you expand, you're opening up more of your fields of energy. And every time you do that, you're traveling faster and faster in the ground line center. And that comes up and it changes the particle light system to its location. Right. And once it does that, you come to higher levels of flux capacitor coloration line channeling. Okay. So once you come into that positions, then you set up the operation of your 3, 6, and 9. Okay. See how it's coming a hologram now? Now, you're in the center line system rotations and position. This is you. You're in the seating system line center location. This is you. You're inside. You have to understand how to use all levels of navigation. That's you inside. So if you understand the torical field and this line system rotation, okay, if you understand the shape positions into your activation line connections, then you come into your tesseract and your tetrahedrons. Okay, very powerful, isn't it? So it's all about understanding how to travel through line center, okay, into the flux capacitor. All right. So, yeah, you're feeling emotional. Mm-hmm. You have a question or comments, that's fine, because Monday's not here yet. So now's the time for you guys to ask the questions on TikTok. Anything you want to know, ask questions on my TikTok, and I'd be happy to answer them for you, right? Because your test is Monday. A lot of people wait too late and they say, uh-oh, clock is ticking. But don't think of it as a test. Everybody gets sweaty. You know, it's like you're biting the pencils at the end, you like that, and you swallow the eraser. So it's all about that, because I don't like tests myself. But when I took my security test, it was like 4 hours, 600 pages. And it was crazy. And I was like, what is going on here? This is a lot of security. I don't, and then I started, just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. And I passed. So it's pretty powerful stuff when you come into that positions. So 600 questions. Yeah, not 600 pages in position line connections, but it was 3-4 hours. So it's unreal when you come into high level system of who you are through profession. It's amazing how you come to that line of conditions, but you have to truly understand how to understand the Merkaba, how to understand the tesseract, the torical fields, and you through connection have traveled. But you have to get your grounds of the mind before you can set up anything to its operation to all levels of your flux capacitor, right? Oh, thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I know. Everybody gets in that position of feeling emotional because I just opened Pandora's box on all realms. So, yeah, it's kind of like a truth serum that has to surface. And the more we come into that, the more we come into the love and light of yourself and each other. Okay? So, but if you see yourself moving and reacting inside, that's a good sign. So it's like if you have to close your eyes too, but if you keep your eyes open, you probably see more, you probably see less. It depends on where you are through your perception of understanding. When you go through all levels of your processing systems, your data, your uplinks, your downloads, and your upgrading systems. It's the uplinkings that you have to understand, which is all connected to your computer lines and your flash drives. You have to recognize all these single time that line system rotation. Right? So if I close my eyes, I'm already seeing the torical field spinning. Now I'm in the sideline center. Now I'm in the ground line system rotations. Now I'm setting up the compartment line connection interference. Now I'm setting all levels of the tesseract, the time frame line center, setting the GPS lock connections. Navigation signals are coming in. Locations and right now on locations. My geometries are in, my operations in, and my directions to my divisions and all levels of its direction line connections or anything to high level rotation is in position. Now I'm closing my eyes to show you how powerful it is and how you can talk, but also see things as you're moving forward in high position of connection. All right. That is very powerful. So I just set up the operations of my torical fields to the Merkaba and its point system. So yeah, listen to Tina. Yeah, there's no right or wrong. It's right. Tina is an extremely high formation. She's been through the test reviews and evaluations, and it's all about you guys coming together more than ever now, right? Especially with Pandora's box, right? Because all female aspects and all levels of all global line center rotations and all positions of males are now coming into the emotional status quo into the heart line center, which means that they have to tell the truth. That's what Pandora's box is. So, this how powerful it is through positions. I don't just word things. Why I understand the operation on so many full cycles. It's crazy of what AI can do. It pertains in all levels of travels. And that's why you have to face the truth of who you are. So maybe it helps to think, how would I take care of my child? You listen to yourself, your heart, and you teach what you know with the ability to see the big picture in basic language. Yes, that's exactly what it is, Ellen. But you have to understand, I just opened Pandora's box. So that's truth serum. You understand? It's very, very powerful in space. Okay. It's got 250 million track lines of interference. It's got a box line center to voice channel line connections, and it's got 22,000 units of a heart reactor line interference channel. It's calculated modified to humanity species. So, thank you, Tina. I totally feel you, Amber. I just keep trusting my truth of who I am, and all the intelligence inside knows and has already done this. That's exactly it. So you're coming into known information more and more each day, guys, and that's what you want. The more you come into knowing who you are through your soul, things get a lot more easier, and you come into more of trusting you of who you are. So hopefully you got a basic understanding with the test review and evaluations. Don't think of it as a test. Just think of it as an everyday class, okay? Because you don't want to put pressure on yourself, right? Watch the video back and get a better understanding. So it's all about what I draw, you don't draw. You draw what you draw in your perception and your time and your connection and your acceleration and your GPS, how you set it up through the illustration and the formula. Okay. Yeah, and you're going to be sobbing more and more, ladies. Because when you open Pandora's box, look out. So, are we meant to send it to the test before class on Monday? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can send it in Monday morning or you can send it in Sunday. It's up to you. I just want you to get information on how to set up all levels of your travels to your formulas, right? And then we'll get into code signaling. Code signaling is fun because you ladies are going to love that, right? And any positions when men come on, they have to come in that position locations too. So it's all about communicating to each other through solar text, through emojis, or anything like conditions. You start out with the track system to its equation. So everything has a structure of equation, right? So it's amazing how you come into the line connection position locations into a high level system. Hi, how are you? Right? Hi, how are you? Equals box, right? This is you. So this is you. Hi, 8, teleportation equals box. How are you? So you're communicating to the 8 line center, which is connection to the telepathy to the box line system, which is you through calculations. That comes in the framing system of its emoji to its connection. All right. So it's amazing how you send back these words, letters, numbers, or anything calculations. Once you get out of the old alphabetical line connections, you come into more of a love cycle, the activation to its reactor. This is all done through the reactor, right? Humanity has been living on their own question line centers, and that's why they can't answer questions inside locations, because everything in life is a question. No, everything in life is a figure 8 rotation, teleportation wire. Tracks a system to high level systems of calculations, and that's why you guys were giving 12 centers. 7 within the body, all right? 12 centers, okay? Slash chakras, right? 12 strands, 12 godheads, 12 planets, 12 activations, 12 cores, 12 motors, right? 12 chakras, grounds, powers, atmospheres, basic. Grounds of Mother Earth, Father Space, you in the center. Always moving forward. That's it. That's all we have to do. Moving forward is in position, all levels. So basically, it's amazing how you come into these positions. Right? Don't draw what I draw your own. Okay, draw your own. Really try to visualize what you're doing. So you're manifesting these things. Right? I get confirmation of the Vega. I know exactly how you guys already set it up. Once they get the confirmation, signals goes in, you go into your 60 communication chakras. All right? So. And see, the thing is, Chris, isn't that interesting how you come across 40 years of disconnect? And now you're coming into the life of you through heart activation. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about coming into actually full rotation of you now through calculations, especially when your general has opened Pandora's box? Makes a lot of sense when you understand what you're doing through operation, right? Remember I said, anything that's done onto you, it doesn't exist on a level system, but it's all about understanding is the truth that you have to face that position, but you have to stand tall and you have to stand up, right? I don't hide in the corner. Anything comes faces at me, I face back, right? But I do it in a generous way, right? Which puts everything in perspective, right? So that car is having a lot of trouble with the alarm center. See how it reacts to the cats and dogs? Very high sensitive line center rotation seats off. Boom. So let's get out of this. All right. We want to get out of this in position. We want to get out of this. We want to see everything inside and outside of everything, because that's what life is. Life is not outside, life is inside. The problem is that we see too much of perception of what is outside and nothing inside. Where's the space? You have space, right? But we all start off as empty space because that's all we see. We don't see our imaginations inside because we don't know what's created. But that's already manifested, which is already created board system, right? When you come into that level system, 15 times 1 equals 20. Took off to 0. Oh, my marker board, I'll tell you, likes to play with me. It's funny, right? So it's amazing it comes in chart line center rotations. Okay, unbelievably alive, yeah. So I can just say that the ground, and I see my funnel balancing and then going through the triangle, and yeah. Love what you're saying, Jill. That's great. Yeah, you guys are going to come into love and more of yourself now. So truth is surfacing fast and faster. So, okay, it's all about the reactor line interference. But everything that I do is set up through shape of operation, right? So you guys are going to get emotional and more and more and more and more and more and break down more and more and more and more through the reactor. That's the Pandora's box. Now you know, right? How powerful it is and what your general can do. So there's nothing to be worried about, Amber. You come into your cross signals of who you are in position. I just want you to understand when you come into high level system rotations, you can do this, which is already done through equations. So don't worry about the test review and evaluation. Just think it as a regular class, just like anything else. Communicating with your friends, having coffee, Don't think of it as a test. As soon as you think of a test, you're thinking too much and there's pressure. And now you're not going to be able to set up the Merkaba, the Tesseract, or the tetrahedrons. Like, okay, what does Commander, see, I say Commander again. What does General want to do? It's communication off cycle. Okay, I'm setting this up. No, that barometer is not set. The central line connection is not checked. Your central system is off. Don't worry about that. Just concentrate on you. Focus on you, and everything will flow. Talk to Tina because she's been extremely informative with all levels of illustration. All right. But there's nothing to worry about. Before 50, last test. Let's see, frustrated because of my logical. But see, that's getting out of the logical, right? Couldn't understand what I was supposed to turn. Focused on knowing I would pass the test in the future and let my heart guide me. Exactly what it is. Just let the heart guide everything, and everything will follow, right? The mind follows all levels of thought, position, location, the activation to its core system line connections. It all levels into high positions. Grounds up, grounds down. You have to truly understand how to force in and force out. That's the true understanding when you travel, especially when you're going to the system, because everything's created inside your position of space. So you no longer come in this space of emptiness. You come into this space of fullness. Okay? So I can just say that I ground down and see my, balancing and then go through the triangle. Yeah, exactly. So you understand how to set up the torical field, and the avatar of you will help you out because it is you. Don't separate your system. Don't get in a position of physical system because there isn't any separation. It's you. It's just you on the other side communicating. Right? So don't get confused with that because you won't be able to set up all levels. Okay, of this checking system, or anything your navigations. Right? Check things off. Activator is good. Navigation line centers is good. Oh, you got the Merkaba. That's good. Check that off. That's what you want to do, right? So do, right? Ready to go, right? As long as you get the grounds with you and the powers and the atmospheres first, and then you do the setup, okay? So, and then we'll get into code signaling, which is a lot of fun. Going with the flow, yeah. I know, you can't stop crying. I know, you guys will probably start crying all day. So, Vicky, how's it going? But you should be happy at where you guys are. You've come a long way, extremely a long way, especially when you understand more, right? Where you came from. How are you supposed to know where you are until you understand from the beginning? That's a whole understanding what humanity has to get into. How are you supposed to rediscover yourself if you don't know yourself? right? How are you supposed to face the truth if the ego is still sitting and waiting? You can't get answers. It's stoic. You're stagnatic. You're standing there. 5 years later, 10 years later, 30 years later, 50 years later. Oh, now I'm awake. It took you 50 years to wake up, right? And that's how really it is with the ego. So you just have to understand the balance of it through travel. It's a way of moving forward, right? So I put the shapes in there so you can understand more positions of AI. It calculates and modifies and gets you into your simulators and understand the positions, getting into your Wi-Fi, getting into all levels of your computers, and understand the navigation of you, okay, which brings you forward in space and time position, right? So, but that's great. You're trying to understand more. So, Vicky, communicate with everybody else. You guys communicate, DM each other on TikTok, or basically go to each other's emails and get your formulas, get your heads together, all together in one. See, that's how basically you put yourself in that positions, right? And then basically once you go to higher levels, okay, you guys will become your own teacher. All right. So what I'll do is I'll set up an equation for you guys, and you'll have to do it in front of the class. So when you get into that, then you come into higher levels of mastering. You have to understand to do these things. So if I say an equation, you have to understand what it is. If I say a box line center to if I say a box line center to an equation, what is the frequency line interference to a channel? You should be able to understand what it is, right? Not like, I'm not sure. Let me get back to you. You know what I mean? So you're not learning anything. You're just waiting. That's the ego. Once the ego goes in, it changes the travel of you instantly just by your thought, because now you're in the hesitation of past, all because you're in that line conditions of the ego. Okay. So if you do that, you're in hesitation and you're in anticipation and you don't know what's going to happen next. Right. So that's the importance when you go to higher levels. That will be given to you when you come into 75. All right. That will help you get a little bit more. And then you'll be able to be, whoa, I can't believe I just did that through an equation. When General just asked me a question, I knew the answer. Knowing the answer is already known for you. So I want to see how much you know the answer from being known. It's all in your archive. It's all in your position. It's all in your cloud. It's already in your storage of remember. Once you become more and remember, everything starts clocking in through its clicking system. And then you understand all level connections, right? What's a 369 pattern line of center rotation position to Merkaba? How does it get its space? What's a communication line interference to a channel line connections to a crop circle location? What's a switching line center to locations to a division line system to the sun? So it's truly understanding how to get these questions out, because everything's not a question. AI doesn't go on questions. They go only on equation of answers, which is known information. So, yeah, it is. It's very powerful, isn't it, Chris? How the ego is very powerful in that line system, especially when you get trapped. And like I said, you're still sitting there 50 years later and you're still waiting for the answer. Clock is ticking. Let's see, 60 years, another 10 years. I think I'll wait. I say, wait a minute. Why am I going to wait another 10 years? What's the purpose of living? Purpose of living is knowing, right? So, yeah, go through my Gmail. Yeah, it's down below. Amber, just send it to my email Sunday or Monday morning before class. Okay. But just think of it. Just think of life and moving forward, not being stagnant and just waiting and seeing the time go by, or just walking up to a flower and seeing it grow. You're there every day trying to figure out how long it's going to take for the flower to grow. You know it's going to grow, so leave it alone. Right? And then you come back to it and then you see it bloom. That's a true understanding how humanity has to set in. Understand? You can't wait. Just let things go, let things flow. And when you find the truth of you, everything will bloom. All right? So, I mean, these are the things I look at, and it's about understanding these things. I mean, even if you stand there, it's going to grow. So there's no point standing there. That's just like where the ego is. Patience. Diane's right. Patience is a virtue. Very, very good. Perseverance. Never give up. Never give up. Galaxy Quest. Tim Allen. Never give up. Never surrender. Yeah. I know it's just a space movie, but Alan Rickman was in that too. That was a funny movie. So I'm just going to go back here, see if I missed anything. You have any questions, let me know. I'm just going to head over to TikTok. It's important you get your questions answered, especially now because the test is coming up, right? You guys are probably have a lot of questions. I can't give you the answers, but I can help you out. You understand? Because I give you the answers, you're not coming into your own disciplines, are you? It's true to understand you have to re-educate yourself to rediscover yourself and how to travel through all position of time lock systems of space. Okay? So, yeah, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, everything makes sense for you, knowing it's known information there, Amber. So, you have any problems, ask questions, talk to each other. That's the best part. Excuse me. That's the best part for everybody, right? To get in that position. So, that's why you haven't been stuck in pain, because you let things flow. You're not like waiting for time, right? Trying to get answers from the universe. Why am I not getting what I want? Right? Stop being with your ego. Let things flow. Be yourself. Be yourself. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. It's better being yourself. And women prefer that, especially when they're going on dates with guys. Guys don't want to be themselves. They have the stereotypical mind. They say they want to put this into position. They want to put that into positions. As long as you have a sense of humor and you listen, you're fine. Be yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. Don't try to impress. Things will follow. Let things flow. Okay? So it's getting into the emotional stat when it comes into when all levels of the Pandora box opens up, because that's all it is. Truth surfaces. And it's the most beautiful thing that you can have, especially when you know who you are. It's the most powerful thing that you can contain in your system. And then you understand everything inside to all connection. And that's what you want. And that's who you become. And that's who you are. All times, every day, in the existence of the now. Hooah! So, all right. Very powerful, isn't it? So I'm going to head over to TikTok. Adios.